All right. Welcome on YouTube. Welcome on TikTok. I really don't know what is wrong with YouTube. Every day now, it just says something went wrong. Can't access the chat on YouTube. I don't know. YouTube has some issue that they can't seem to straighten out. This is about 10 days in a row. So I apologize for those of you on YouTube. You're not able to comment. And it's not my issue. This is a YouTube issue. If you're on TikTok, you can chat and comment. So let's get that fired up and ready. All right, there you go. Welcome. If you're new, let me know where you're from. Welcome. We're going to get started here in a minute. Framer Jerry, welcome. Let me know what part of the country you're from. Don't. All right. We're going to be talking about big news just happening. Google has launched Gemini 3, and a lot of people are talking about it. So we're going to take a peek at just a couple things here in a minute. If you're new, let me know where you're from, what part of the country you're in. So, and if you're aware of what Gemini 3, how it just launched and how it's different from ChatGPT, awesome. Let me know what your understanding is. Welcome, Tree Surgeon, Stephen, Matthew, welcome, Glenn, welcome. We're going to get started in just a minute. All right, I got 3 articles, all less than 20 hours old. Then we'll break them down real quick. All right, here we go. All right, so here's what's happening in the world right now. There's a race, right, for the AI, and ChatGPT has been stealing all the headlines, and everyone's been trying to catch up. All right, so according to something you understand that the Middle East is heavily invested in AI, and Gemini 3 has launched, and here's what, according to the Middle East, they're saying. Gemini 3 is the most advanced artificial intelligence. Hey, Alan, if you're new here, welcome. Let me know what part of the country you guys are from, William. So they're saying that Google's Gemini 3, the most advanced one and the most advanced mod of AI to hit the market to date. Okay. It integrates state of the art reasoning, deep multimodal understanding, powerful agentic features designed to enhance productivity across various domains. Right? So think of this: complex analytical tasks to large scale workflows and creative exploration. It represents the first time that Google has embedded such a model directly into its search engine on a launch day, enabling a new dynamic for user experience and AI powered problem solving unmatched by anyone else's capability. All right. Yeah. So if you're new, let me know what part of the country you're from. Now, so Gemini 3 is emphasizes state of the art, right, reasoning capabilities that are pushing the boundaries of what AI can actually achieve. And according to Google DeepMind, the model exhibits like PhD level problem solving. Okay. Um, the defining strength is its sophisticated multimodal intelligence. One of Gemini 3's most innovative elements is its agentic ability. It's an autonomous AI agent function, right? So if you're not familiar with that, it means it can do things for you, automate tasks. Okay. Um, it'll divide them up. It can do workflows. If you have a website and summation, you can start texting them, emailing them. This all happens behind the scenes. You don't have to be involved in any of it. That's your workflow. That's your trigger. It interacts automatically. And this is what I'm getting at. You have remodelers right now that are pre-selling jobs before they ever even talk to the homeowner, before they ever even visit the homeowner's site. So that now, by the time that I do go visit the homeowner, I'm going there to sign a contract, right? You have other guys that are doing the old-fashioned way. They're getting a phone call saying, "Yeah, Miss Smith, I'll come out. I'll take a look. I'll measure." Then you run out. You have to look, measure. Then then you're sending an estimate. These other guys. I can figure all that out with my AI working in the background, sending them a message back and forth, clarifying a few details. And then by the time that I call them to set up the appointment, it's like, "Hey, I'm coming out to sign the agreement. We're going to get your job rolling." So that's what starts happening. All right. And the model has a deep think side. So for those of you, it takes more time to process the information. And let's see. All right, we're going to look at what the Wall Street Journal has to say. If you have any questions, anything you've heard about Gemini 3, what your experiences are, let me know. Feel free to just pop it in the for a while, right? Google didn't like getting caught asleep at the wheel, and ChatGPT took off. And so now they're coming back into the game and saying, "We're here." All right, Business Insider. All right. So let's look at a couple things here. And you guys share, please, what your comments are about Gemini 3, what your experience. If you just started using it, I mean, it just launched today. They totally revamped their offering. So let's break down. What is setting Gemini 3 apart from everybody else? You have to understand that behind the scenes, a lot of companies are integrating automation. Okay. And it's allowing them to respond. "Hey there, Jay. I'm glad to see you here." Um, if I'm using an AI agent in the background on my website, I can respond faster, right? I most likely will avoid mistakes as long as I've pre-framed it and set up its deliverables properly. It will help me give homeowner answers. Now, a lot of guys are saying, "But the homeowner doesn't want to talk to an AI agent," and that might be true. But if the homeowner can't get in touch with you, it wants information, and it'll take AI information over no information. Okay. And people are getting more and more familiar with how this works. They want to answer, they get a response. They ask a question, they get a response. They want more information. They don't have time to be calling you and you not answering it, going to your voicemail. So, this is why you need this interactive agent on your website answering these questions for the homeowner in real time. All right. This is not something that the homeowners aren't doing in their other daily tasks and life. So it's going to get you guys so that you don't have to be on the phone as much. You can focus on working like and doing other things for the business, and follow me with this. So what does all this multimodal, what does all this mean? So most homeowners, you guys as contractors, you're used to going to Google and typing in and doing a search, and you get random answers, and then you have to go through and filter and figure out. Now what's happening, and you know this if you used AI, you're getting much more specific results back. And now with agent mode, I can say, find me the best plumbing contractor in my area that specializes in fixing clogged toilets. Contact them and let's see if I can have an appointment for tomorrow at 4 o'clock. This is what the homeowner is able to do now. And the AI is working in the background, making that happen with companies that have their technology set up to facilitate that. If your website can't handle that, you're not even getting the call. Like you don't even know the job existed and it already was booked with another contractor who was able to facilitate those steps happening in the background. So what I'm getting at is the AI agent, it can email the client back and forth. It can even help come up with some pricing for them. It can schedule, it can look on your calendar and find an available time, and it can do all that behind the scenes. Now, some guys might not be ready for all that. And I hear what you're saying. We're going to walk before we run. But understand that the capability is already here and people are doing this. So another thing is you can have your crew start taking photos and you can start building scopes of work. You can start building your schedules based off of the designs. Like it's all going to start happening for you a lot quicker. And a lot of times for me, when a client calls me, a prospect, right? A prospect calls us, they often ask a lot of the same questions. Those are called FAQs, frequently answered questions. Hopefully, you guys have a section now on your website, where you pre answer a bunch of these questions that the average homeowner is asking. Is this an app? So, Google Gemini 3 is the new version, Trey, Zilla, that Google just launched today. They upgraded. And what's happened is, and please forgive me if you already know this, ChatGPT has been ahead, but Google has been struggling, but not now. They're back. And they have just launched their version to say, hey, ChatGPT, you settle down. We're back. We're taking over this AI game. And the capabilities are kind of astounding what it can do. All right. Yes, Gemini 3 from Google. You are correct, sir. Yes, a brand new version just came out. Literally like less than 18 to 20 hours ago. It just hit the news. Okay. And you're welcome. All right. But start, if you don't have a FAQ section on your website, you should sit down maybe over this weekend because we have a nice holiday coming. Hopefully, a lot of you guys are going to be celebrating for Thanksgiving. And just when on your downtime, start writing, get out of your mind all the things and say, hey, Trezo, let me know what part of PA. I'm going to be heading up to Media, Pennsylvania tomorrow I'll be up there for the Thanksgiving. So look, you got to get the things out of your head, get them down on pen and paper to start, or if you can type, sit down with your laptop over the weekend and start saying, I get asked this question. Homeowner calls me up all the time and says, hey, what is your service area? Will you cover where I live? So you should already start saying, these are the zip codes that we cover. Or these are the neighborhoods. What else do people ask you, right? Like, do you use subcontractors? Do you have direct employees? I get asked in my area, I get asked that question a lot. We have a lot of homeowners that want to work with a company that has direct employees. They don't like the model where a lot of companies just sub everything out. So that should be, if you get asked that, that would be a question and answer that's on your webpage. I get asked about how we price jobs. I don't get into what my hourly rate is, but I explain to homeowners that if you choose us to remodel, it's like going out to a restaurant and ordering a meal. You're going to get one price and it's going to include the steak. You're going to get a salad. You're going to get a vegetable, right? You're going to get a starch. You're going to get some dinner rolls. All that's included. And so the way I explain it to the homeowner is we're a one-call contractor. You call us. We take care of all permitting, all design work, all plans. we do the demo, we do the framing, right? We do the finish work, and we take care of all the mechanicals. So you only have to contact us, and then we contact everyone else. So that's on my website. You would explain that. Okay. So anyway, if you've been doing this for at least a year, I guarantee you've probably been asked like 4 questions over and over again. That should be at the start of your FAQs. All right, let's move on. There's a lot of these new AI agents do what's called advanced reasoning. So what that means is they're providing real help. It's not guessing. Okay. So it just doesn't copy an answer and paste it. It's solving the problem. It can reason itself through like we would think through a problem. It can do that. It knows context. It understands nuances, and you can build the agent. You can tell it to say, hey, I like to speak this way to my clients. So I want my AI agent to talk like I talk. And you can have the AI agent have your personality. So homeowners will feel like it's coming from you and the company. All right. This is where it starts getting fascinating. It won't just sound like a generic response. So on your chat bots, you can start influencing how the chat is going. And it will, over time, it's getting better and better. But you have to start building it now, right? So that you can keep iterating. And that's how you'll improve. If you wait, I'm afraid like you're going to start to fall too far behind. All right. So thing that guys struggle with, I find on big remodeling projects, is figuring out proper payment milestones. Well, now you can use AI to help reason that through with you. Like you can say, these are my cash reserves. I can go 2 weeks without another payment. I don't know, whatever your structure is, right? You can let it know what your payroll is. You can let it know if you're keeping financial records, you can let it know we tend to bring in this much money per month, per week. These are our typical expenses per week, per month, however you understand your numbers. And then when you get a large project that's going to require a lot of your resources, you can start trying to structure it and say, hey, what's the best payment structure to set up for this project if that's something you struggle with? I like to get paid early and have the homeowner pay for the projects, but I'm on the chats a lot and I'm on a lot of Facebook groups, and I see a lot of contractors wait until the end of the job to get like 50% of the payment. I don't recommend that, but I know some of you guys do that. Okay. I recommend that you don't ever have more than 10% waiting at the end of a job. You front load your first few payments. I like a 30% deposit, right? And then 30 and 30 again as my milestones, and then 10 at the end. Or maybe 30 up front and then like 20, 20, 20. You can, if you have a lot bigger job and it's a lot more money, it's going to take more time, you can add that extra milestone in there. And the way I do that is I break up the second and the third milestone. That's so instead of 30, 30, 20, 20, 20. Okay. And again, I use payment upon start of completion. So you can put this into when you're developing your scope of work, you can put all this into the AI chat and say, hey, what are the best milestones for me to make sure I'm being paid if you don't know yet? Like for me, I like to get paid right when we're getting ready to have inspections. So as soon as our installation has started, I like to say then a payment's due. You might say when sheetrock is being started. Okay. You can now ask AI to help you with your marketing calendar and figuring out how you're going to set up your marketing. All right. If you're struggling still with certain objections from clients over and over again, like today, I put out a video, the 4 most common remodeling objections. If you're coming into people saying they have to talk it over with their spouse, they saying that they have a cheaper price, right? Whatever it is, you can use my method, the ARI advanced. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Hey, welcome here. And yeah, please let me know where you're from if you're new to the group. You can put in, we want to be able to respond with using applied relational intelligence. And that's the model where you ask more questions to clarify and you encourage the homeowner to have the objection because you don't take it personally. You're like, this is awesome. I'm glad you have this objection, right? And you encourage them to have it. And then you shift it and explain to them why they don't need to have the objection. But you can start role playing with the AI models now to go through that. All right. So all of this, it's pretty powerful. If you haven't been playing around with it, I recommend you get in there. What kind of questions? Uh, so here's a prompt that you can put in to test. You can say, "Hey, I'm a remodeling contractor. I'm getting ready to do a kitchen. I have this photo. Here's the progress. These are the materials that I've ordered. Here's my timeline." Right? Help me generate the email that I'm going to keep using to update the homeowner so that I can language it in a way that they'll be excited about working with us. Um, how do I explain to the homeowner about the way we close out jobs? Right? We don't want to have a huge punch list. We want to be working through the phases so that when we're at the very end, we're just doing a celebratory walkthrough as opposed to the homeowner. We're not going to have the homeowner putting blue tape all over our jobs. We don't do that. That's not a professional remodeling experience, right? So you can have it help you so that you have a guide for how you're going to communicate to the homeowner and you can print it out and hand a copy to the homeowner so that they understand that a final walkthrough with your company does not mean putting blue tape everywhere. What a final walkthrough is an explanation of how all the systems and products that you've installed work together, right? Not about nitpicking. So anyway, little things like that you can start using your AI with. So, all right, what kind of questions do you guys have? Um, is there anything that's come up for you? Are you curious? Have you already been using it? Like, is this, am I at the basic level? Do you guys need me to talk about more advanced stuff? What's happening? Hopefully you guys didn't fall asleep during that. Um, but yeah, all right. Little quiet, no worries. Let's see. I can give you guys some more information. Hold on. Unless somebody has a question, pop it into there. So here's a thing that people like. A lot of times, you want to have to get back to the homeowner, and you have to give them some sort of an email, right? Because that's the way you said, "Hey, I'm going to email you." So, what you can start using, like one of these AI agents for, is structuring it. They call it a 3-point system on your email. All right, and it's an action list. So you can explain to homeowners in a more organized fashion what's happening on a job, right? So that's all I'm saying. Like, one of the things you can do, it's very simple, you start using today, is just putting some structure into the way that you communicate. What else could we talk about? You can ask, this is another one. You can ask AI to look over your scope of work and say, I'm working on a 1920s house. I can't see behind the walls. What might discover that I might not be aware of? Let's say you're not real familiar with working on old houses, right? Maybe you don't know the complexity of wooden lath, plaster, or maybe you don't know. Like, I have in my area in the 1950s, they started putting wire mesh in all the corners of houses that used blue board. So if you're going to do demolition to a kitchen or bath in houses around me that were built in the 1950s, you're in for a rude awakening. That's some hard stuff to get through. That blue board is solid. You got the finished plaster on top, and then you have to go in and rip that wire mesh. I mean, it is in, they nailed and stapled the hell out of that. It takes a long time to pull all of that down, and it's on every seam, the wall, the ceiling. So you have, if you've never demoed a 1950s house in my area, like, you could be in for a rude awakening. You could end up, it take you 3 more days to do demo because you didn't realize, like, that's what I'm saying. It can help you, and it can help make sure that you're not overlooking something. You might be very experienced, but you're in a rush, and you can put your scope into AI and say, "Please review this. What is it that I might be missing?" And then you can associate your charges next to it, and you can say, "Hey, what might I be undercharging for? Is there anything here that maybe I'm not charging enough for? Am I making assumptions?" Like, a lot of remodelers forget to add in transition time, is what I call it. When you're a remodeler, you're doing demo in the morning, then you're transitioning into framing, right? Or then you're transitioning into going around doing fire blocking or doing more framing. You have to allow time for the guys to switch over to the next trade. There's setup, there's breakdown, they're getting another set of tools out, they're putting the other tools away. That's what, there's things like that that you have to allot for. So, and you always have to add extra buffer time. A lot of guys forget to add, I would tell you that every week that you're on the job, you need to add at least a half to, not, if not a full day buffer. That's typically what ends up happening on remodeling projects. So you can make sure that you're putting that in there. Hey, Lungo Construct, welcome. If you're new, please let me know what part of the country you're from. And at any point, if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to discuss. Oh, maybe, you know what? Treezil, so please forgive me. TikTok bans a lot of comments, so maybe you said something that it didn't like. Don't know if my message went through. I graduated from Williamson. Oh my, yeah. So that's awesome. Williamson College. Okay. So where you went to school, there's a train that goes right behind the ball fields. How long ago did you go, Treezil? How long did you go there? All right, Lungo, California. What part of Cali are you in, Lungo? Resident, Lungo, to answer your question. So for me, it's residential remodeling. Okay. I'm in Maryland. I'm off of the Chesapeake Bay on the Western Shore. We do the specialty would be residential remodeling. Los Angeles, Austin. Very cool. All right. Graduated 2011 with horticulture degree. Have a lot of buddies in carpentry from Williamson. All right. So, Williams, this is good. You're going to find this fascinating, Teresa. Well, maybe you won't, but I do. So, my girlfriend, her parents have a house, and it backs up to your school's, the ball where they built the new stadium, I guess is the best way to explain it. So I'm near your college all the time. Pretty cool. Small world. I'll be heading up there tomorrow. I'll be up there for the weekend doing some stuff all around media. for the holidays. So yeah, so you have that's awesome that you got to go there. You have a very good you were given some like good foundational principles to work with. All right, Lungo, what do you use for bidding estimates and liftoffs? So I like to use an old-fashioned spreadsheet. I've tried various softwares over the years, and I always go back to my basic. I am a linear type of a thinker, and what I mean by that is I take a project, and the first thing I put is like, let's say demolition, right? Framing, and I have up there permits and plans, right? And then I get into exactly how the job's going to break down, all the mechanicals, uh, insulation, sheetrock, right? Framing, sheetrock, painting, cabinetry, trim work, flooring, right? And then I take and in every column I put the hours that I think. So let's say I think it's going to take 40 hours. I put 40 hours. Then I use another column where I put in the number of days that I think, because I like to round up hours. All right. I know if my crew's there for 4 to 6 hours, that's the day. And then I also like to write out a number for what I think a job like that would cost if I have to sub it out. And then I'll go down at the bottom and I'll add all those up and I'll look at the various averages. And then I make another column where I'm saying this is how much I'm charging. That's how I do it. Okay. And I find that that gives me the best price. I build in my markup and margin all along the way. So I'm not doing it at the end. Everything gets marked up. Okay. And I account for everything. I list out the materials. So now, again, I'm doing residential remodeling, so my jobs are typically would be $300,000 or less. Many are probably like 30 to 100,000. I mean, if you're doing like multi-million dollar commercial projects, you would that process wouldn't work. So I don't. What type of work do you do? Yeah, you can. I will run. So good question. I will run the model back through and ask it to verify. And you might have missed that. I What you'll do is once you come up with your scope of work and you come up with the dollar amounts that you're associating, yes, I will run it back through AI and I will ask it, am I missing something? Is there something I might not have factored in? Are Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so if you're doing commercial work, you're bidding off of, like, packages a lot often, so your model's gonna be you can literally take your packages, the bid package, if you're doing, like, RFIs or, you can take that and upload it, obviously, you're probably already doing it. You upload it into AI, and you can bid off of that. Yeah, it could be. I mean, we get in my world as a residential guy, I get paid for it. I didn't do I did some commercial work, like people would hire us to do a restaurant, a coffee shop. But yeah, I work is work. If I'm writing it up, I'm getting paid for it. All right, some more comments are being filtered. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's there's a balance, Lungo. You have to look at it like this. I'm careful who I'm trusting how to tell me how much I'm getting paid or how much I'm charging for the job. So whatever model AI model you're using, in my world, I would still be double checking all those numbers on a spreadsheet because that model can make mistakes. And you don't want to come back later and realize that it made a math error and you trusted it. A spread, a digital, Google sheet, a Microsoft Excel. I mean, those things, as long as you put the right numbers in and you have the proper formula, you're going to get the right answer every time. So there you go. Very good. So you have a good process. Yep. Bluebeam. A lot of guys like that. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, you what I specialize in is residential remodeling, and I like to work with guys who like to do kitchens. We're What I've done is taken 20 years of kitchen remodels, and we've been uploading all of our proposals, all of our scopes of work, all of the actual costs and value, and we're adding that into a database so that when we go in, if I talk to somebody, if I find out you want a kitchen remodel and I say, hey, this is a 1970s brick rancher, it's 2,000 square feet. The AI can go back and pull data off of 100 kitchens that I remodeled like that. And now it can help me formulate a much more accurate price. So that's something you might want to start looking into too, is you build an agent on your AI platform so you can start feeding it historical data. And so this stuff starts to get highly localized, right? And specialized for your area, your part of the country. So, but it's the one of the issues. When you say pricing sheets, I mean, I show homeowners the cost versus value a lot is what I get into. Um, just to help set a pre-frame for them to what something typically is a ballpark price. But I wouldn't you I mean, when I first got started, I used estimating software that was hyper local to my area, and it broke everything out, every line item to the penny. But I don't share that ever with a client, because there's too many variables and dependencies. One thing's dependent on the next. So, I and I found over time that was I didn't do a ton of it. When I did insurance work, yeah, we would have to line item out things. But for the typical home remodel, that just confuses the homeowner. They don't need all that detail. It doesn't do anybody any good. They just need to know demo, removing a wall, putting in a new window here, moving the door there. They don't need to know that, I'm putting in a glue lam LVL header and we're using Simpson strong tie brackets. Yeah, we used Xactimate for a little while, but then we realized that didn't work best for me. I didn't want to spend that much time on all my estimates. I use another product called Home Tech for the longest time. What I do is, if we do insurance work, we provide the insurance company a breakdown that is like Xactimate for them, but we don't use Xactimate. So I didn't want to get tied into their pricing model, because if you think about it this way, Xactimate, they get their pricing from the insurance companies. So they want you to use their pricing. And I'm like, I'm not doing it that way. I'll do the format. I'll give you a line item breakdown for insurance carriers, but I'm not using your pricing. But I have access to data like this. If in case I come across something I've never worked on before, but that doesn't happen a lot. So, but I I think as you do the well, yeah, the book comes from a company called Home Tech. I think they've transitioned. I think they're called Clear Estimates now. I don't know if they still publish the digital, a hard copy of the book. That one's a couple years old. But what I can do is Even if you can come across an old pricing book, this is what get with AI. What's crazy is I can say, hey, I'm looking at a pricing book from 2018. I need to update the cost to reflect 2025 based off of historical changes in data, and it'll make the alterations to the pricing for me if I'm unaware of, what it technically might need to be. But see what this company did years ago. It's kind of sad that I mean, AI is probably going to start doing this, but it would break things down like this. This is how, and this is how so what I started doing is I write my estimates just like this, right? So and then I basically made this into Excel spreadsheets for myself. And then over time, I know my own data that I'm putting in, the pricing that I want in there. And then some of you guys might find this interesting. Give me 1 second. See, you can make your own. Let's say you do a lot of kitchens. I can meet with a homeowner, and once I already have a format for everything I need to put in just for the kitchen, right? So I've broken it down, and I have a tab in my estimating where when I do a small kitchen, I just go to that tab and it prompts me for all the data that I need to pop in there. Yeah, Lungo, let's see. You want me to go into the settings, invert the camera. Yeah. Are you able to do that while it's live? Yes, sir. I can do that. Nah, that just puts it on to so yeah, I mean, if this helps. But see, I have already my kitchens are broken out like this. So anyway, like, once you've been doing this a long time, I build my own software. You make your own spreadsheets is what I'm trying to say. So I would take that data and just put it into my spreadsheet. Goat, what's happening? Good to see you. Yeah, so it won't let me do, believe it or not, it doesn't let you do mirror. At least when I'm on TikTok, if I'm doing the front facing camera so I can see, it won't let me mirror. I can only flip. Hold on. There. You want it like that. So that helps. See, I can just show this to the homeowner, right? Small kitchen. Jay Allen, you might start doing these for your bathrooms over time. You'll start showing homeowners samples of different bathroom layouts. All right, so those are powder rooms, ones with dual sinks. Yeah, you want to show them when you. A lot of times, a homeowner's going to have they don't know, and they're like, "I want you to put a 30-inch shower," and you're going to be like, "You don't want a 30-inch shower. Have you ever been camping and tried to? You can't shower in a 30-inch shower, you know." And they want you to try to shove a shower in a corner. You need to show them these layouts and mark, mark on the floor. Right. Same thing if you start building like Lungo, you probably do additions and garages. So like you have a couple samples that you can just sit there and show the homeowner real quick. Yeah. But like you don't last thing you want to do is build something silly for the homeowner that like it comes up a lot for me. I have a lot of homeowners that want to take too small of a space and put too much into it. And I'm like, you need more space, like there you go. Yeah, Jan, you got to show them exactly. And you have to explain to them like if you've ever tried to spin around in a 30-inch shower, you'll do it for a night if you go camping, but every day, no. Like you need at least 36 inches for that shower. If not, 4 feet. 4 feet's nice. You could do like what is it? 4 foot by like 32 is pretty common, you know, as long as you can stand the one way. Yeah, 6 by 8. Yeah. CJ Allen, you're talking. You know where luxury's at. But yeah. Yeah, we have to be, homeowner just says, "Hey, I want to try to put something in this small space," and sometimes you have to just like wake them up and say, "We'd love to do that, but that's not going to fit right here." Anyway, you just have to help guide them. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it's a Jay Allen, are you seeing this on regular like hall baths too? Because you can't make a lot of times you can't make them much bigger unless you're taking out a closet too, right? Like there you go, goat. Nice work. Okay, yeah. Just when there's a small. Okay. Lungo, you asked what were some margins are, and TikTok didn't like that, so it banned your comment. I had to undo it. But I mean, there's a guy on the other night. He's getting 67% profit margins all day long. I would use 1.75 if I'm if I'm a remodeling contractor. That would be what I would shoot for. And then I would try to see how much more you can get. Yeah, blueprints are nice. Yeah, usually if you get a set of drawings and it's done by an experienced designer or engineer or architect, then, you can generally build and say they've thought this through because a lot of times engineers and architects, they won't let the homeowner make some silly decisions, you know. Like, they're gonna make sure you have at least 30 inches for the where the toilets go side to side, right? 15 inches off the center of the flange, or the drain, let's call it, and they're gonna make sure that there's enough room for the vanity. I mean, bathrooms get complicated. Homeowners like to try to wedge a lot of stuff into a bathroom. Yeah. Yeah, a good designer, exactly. They're gonna educate the homeowner, and they wanna come up with a nice design because that's their business, and they want all future homeowners to be like, "This bathroom's amazing." Yes, exactly, goat. Your job's to make the designer look awesome. Now, some designers have, they drink a little too much of the, Kool-Aid, and they come up with some crazy designs. Sometimes you gotta talk them back from that, but most of them do a really good job, and they know the standards. I bet. Yeah. Yeah, so there you have a lot of engineers that just cram stuff into space. They don't think about the people trying to fix them. I hear you on that, goat. It's like if you brought the engineer out to the job site, yeah, yeah, I could imagine in the shipyard, it's probably a disaster. Wow. Yeah, because you probably can't even position your body into the right space. Wow, with the mirror? Nice. Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah, that was probably some interesting work to have that experience. Yeah, I bet. Wow. Okay, right out of trade school. Nice. So are you a certified welder? Can you do overhead? That comes up a lot in remodeling, like especially if you're setting beams. A lot of times we have to bring out a certified welder to set the beam and weld it to the metal post. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, that might be another niche you might want to start if you're certified to do overhead welding for like residential projects in your area. You might want to reach out to some different contractors and let them know that that's because that comes up in my world. That comes up a bit. Find some contractors that do a lot of larger structural renovation work. A lot of times they don't. Most of them don't have a guy on staff that is certified to do that welding. And for you, it probably just be a couple hours, and you could make some good money. Okay, I got you. You'd have to invest in the setup. Yeah. Yeah, so, I don't know if there's enough of that kind of work out where you are or not to make it worthwhile. I guess you'd have to, like, ask around, how many jobs would it take you to pay for the setup, all the equipment? And then where are you gonna store it, right? Can you? Because that might not be something you wanna keep on the truck all the time. I don't know, maybe, but some of these guys are doing the tow behinds too. That would be something that you could probably pick up one used and, just hook it up to your truck when you need it. Anyway, but you'd have to do a significant amount of welding to help, to keep make because the machine, that that equipment's going to need maintenance. All right. Well, what else? Any other questions? Anybody got anything they read about and anything that they're excited about, worried about? Jay Allen, Goat, you guys got to be thinking about. All right. So, Goat, you're going to crush that interview tomorrow. Right? You're going to ask some really good questions. And let them know that, yeah. Let him know. Thank you, Jay Allen. Let him know that you're going to be able to handle, see what he's looking for, and just ask him, do your good due diligence. Ask, get some good insight. I don't know. I would find out why he has you there. And here's what I'm saying. I might hold on to the idea until the end. I would. He's asked you to come out. He wants to talk to you about something. So I would just ask him a lot of questions about his business and what he, that's, yeah. So he's probably, yeah. And that's up. I don't know. That's up to you. I might save the pitch for a second meeting down the road. I don't know. It depends on. I mean, I guess it just depends. Does you think your idea is going to benefit him? If it's going to help him out with his business, you could just say, "Hey, I got to." So you know what? I don't think there's any harm in saying, I have this crazy idea. Would you be opposed? And just put it out there. Why not? The worst thing he can say is, "Yeah, that's kind of I don't know if I like that." That's the worst thing he could say. But I would save it. You know what I'm saying? I would wait till he's. I don't think you'll be disrespectful. I think the way you do it is you wait kind of till the end, and you just kind of you say, I had this crazy. You just tell him you were talking to a buddy about this interview. You're like, hey, I was excited that I was going to come out here and talk to you, and we were just spitballing some ideas, and we had this silly, crazy thought. What do you think? Is this crazy? I don't. You could just put it out there like that. Anyway, it'll work. It'll all be good. Yeah, you're gonna do awesome. So just focus on asking him how you can help him succeed. I think that's the goal, most likely. Yeah. Yep. I you know, Go, it's the same thing that you already probably do with a homeowner. You ask them a lot of questions like, "Tell me, what kind of problems do you have in this business? Is it hard? Like, is it hard to find people? Is it hard to get the material? I don't know." You just ask them questions. What's problem? Tell me about your problems. What problem do you have? How are you trying to solve it? What problem do you have when you try to solve it? What problem does that create if you solve it? Yeah. So I think you'll get real far with him if you're just real curious about his problems and what he needs help with. Yeah. So I mean, most likely he's looking for you to, sell his product and maybe install it. I'm not certain what I don't know his angle at the moment. I don't think he's told you his angle either. So Maybe he's trying to get a really good installer to help him out. Maybe he has a problem where he pays guys to go out and install it, but can't get them to go back and do touch-ups. I don't know, you know? Yeah, we have no idea. I know some of these guys that sell cabinets, a big problem is getting them installed. Some of them need so another thing is warranty work. A lot of these guys will stand behind a warranty, and then they need a go-to person that can go out and knows all the cabinets inside and out. And you can go and make, repairs out in the field and make adjustments. Remove a door if it gets damaged, bring the door back to the shop, get a new door, whatever. Replace the rails or stiles that get busted. Yeah, add handles. Who knows? Fix drawers. Maybe the drawer comes apart, or the slide or guide gets damaged. I don't really know what he's looking for. So, but those are questions I'd be asking him. Like, hey, who handles? Do you give a warranty? How does the warranty get handled if the homeowner has a problem? I don't know. Yeah, like a service tech. And I'm not saying you want to do those things, but I would just be curious to ask him just so you understand how his business rolls. And then you look for your angle. Like if something starts to make sense to you, you're like, damn, I could probably solve that problem for him. I don't know. That's how I would probably approach it. Yeah, exactly. You're a problem solver. You just do what you do. This is gonna be no big. This is gonna be awesome. So, and if he does have work for you, you, you might ask him, say, who else do you know that could benefit from what I do, or I don't know, like see if he's got some referrals for you. Who knows? You never know. All right. All right, guys. Anybody else have anything they're curious about? Anything happening? We're coming up on just hit an hour. There you go. Go tell us what happened. How did it work out? Was the homeowner excited? Were you able to hand it to them in person, or did you just have to leave it like at their house or where they work? Or that's awesome. Congratulations. Oh, you gave him like a little reward roulette. You said, "Here, pick an envelope. Pick any envelope." That's awesome. Great job, man. So, you know what's awesome about that? If you do want to make videos for your account down the road, yeah, so think about how cool you could set your camera up on the next one down the road. Now, once you get comfortable, and you could start videoing, yeah, this process. Say to the homeowner, look, I'd like to, okay, maybe for the next one, you could adjust the camera angle, ask them, say, hey, you don't have to have your face. I'm going to set the camera up like behind you. But just so I can get like a 15-second clip, uh, you know, and show homeowners how cool it is that I have awesome customers. Anyway, yeah, you'll come up with your way over time, but I think down the road this is something that you'll want on this would be really good content for your channel cuz what you're doing is really cool. It's awesome. And I think it would get a lot of good publicity. Yeah. Probably felt good. It's awesome. Congratulations. I'm telling you, it's amazing. You're like doing all the stuff, so that's awesome. There's guys that have been in business for 10 years and don't even do this. So like, yeah. Words go you just keep doing that. Word travels. People, yeah, people are gonna remember, and they're gonna when they walk away and they felt really good about working with you, referring you, doing business with you, and then they share with their friends, like that person's gonna say, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" "Well, I'm going to do this thing." "Oh, really?" "Yeah, my handyman gave me a gift card." Because you see what I mean? Like it's the right move, man. It's really gonna. It just takes time. Be patient. Yeah. But that homeowner is going to be talking to somebody else, or they're going to take somebody and share that experience that you gave them with them, and the whole thing will start taking off. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because it's a very personalized touch. It's a unique experience that you're providing that other people aren't. So it's cool. Yeah, it's a good form. It's a good use of your marketing effort, in my opinion. So yes, it sets you apart 100%. Yeah. Nah, brother, you're doing it, man. Yeah. All these little things, I'm telling you. It's awesome that you're implementing. And you're going to start letting other people know. You're gonna, you'll kind of like let it out with some other homeowners. Say like, "Hey, I got to roll. I got to go drop off a reward to one of my other amazing customers." Yeah, it's kind of this thing I do. Like if you start recommending me because you loved how much I did for you and how awesome it was, yeah, I'd like to, maybe give you a little something to say thank you for sharing and helping your neighbors out, right? Yeah. And then the homeowner's like, "This guy's amazing," right? Like it's that humble thing, but you're sharing it, but like you're not bragging. But you have to let people know that you do nice things and that you got a cool setup going on. So, yeah, you already know that you're the greatest. They just have to be reminded that you're 702, right? The greatest of Las Vegas. So you just remind them in a subtle way. You get, yeah. Uh, Listen, you have that office of yours. Are you in your office? You have that whiteboard? You have a piece of paper? You write down that you're going to do 5 of these, and then you're going to get in touch with the local paper, and you're going to let them know that like that's something you do for your clients. And if they ever need a little story about somebody who's doing good things in the community, you're going to get in touch with your local community like paper. They're always looking for like little articles, a little news story. Maybe it'll get you on like the 6 o'clock news in your community. "Hey, we got a local remodeler here. He gives back to his clients. He's built a network." All right. Yeah. After 3, I would consider doing it. See if one of them will let you get just a little bit of it on film, and they you don't have to show their face. Just Um, and then you can do a little outreach to one of your news groups. Well, yeah, if you want. I'm not trying to overwhelm. Please hear me. I'm not trying to overwhelm you at all. I noticed that you like take action and like this could be something that could get you some free publicity in your area. All those news groups are always, you know what I'm trying to say? They put that little, they need a feel good story usually to end the news, the last couple minutes. Yeah, all right. So I can help you. It's like we can come up with what's called like a press release, and it's just a little one-page thing that you're going to send out to the news. And that's just step one. But eventually somebody might contact you. And what might happen is, follow me on this. They might come and want to video you giving one of these rewards to one of your and interviewing the client. I mean, it could really it could become I don't know. I'm just saying that there's the possibility. There you go. You're already doing it, Just. Yeah, awesome, Goat. Keep it up, man. Yep. Yeah, you can put that article. Okay. Yeah, so that article that person or the whatever the article they wrote on you, that we can put in that in your press release, that gives you some credibility. Yeah. So that's all. Yeah, make sure you keep a copy of that thing. Maybe even get it framed if you have it printed out. Like put that up on the wall in your office. That's awesome. That's the first of many. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, good. Keep a copy. These are all good things. And make sure you follow back up with the people that you're giving the rewards to and just check in and say, "Hey, tell me, how was the thing?" I don't know, down the road. You know what I'm saying? But create a little bit of a communication loop with some of the clients. Don't forget about them. Yeah. There's a big thing about, they call it reciprocity. Uh, it's there's a when you do something nice for someone, there's something the way we're wired that often it's like, you ever had somebody hold the door for you and then you kind of want to like turn around and hold the next door for them, right? Um, Somebody gives you a compliment, you all of a sudden now want to give somebody else a compliment. And all these things help get all that in motion, Justin. When you're doing something really nice for the homeowner is going to want to do something nice either back for you or for another one of their friends. It just sets a lot of good things in motion. And you get to be the catalyst of that, which is pretty cool. So, uh, good choice, LLC. I don't know if I've seen you before, but welcome if you're new. Hey, please let us know where you're from if you're still in here. All right. Yeah, that's mainly what unless anybody's got anything else, I don't have much else for tonight. Goat, we were just talking about Gemini 3. They just launched and they have I should encourage more viewers to share. Okay. Thank you for sharing the live, Justin. I appreciate that. yeah, if you guys would be able to share, that would be helpful. And if you are new here, just let us know what part of the country you're from. We have, thank you, yeah. So we have Goat. He's from Las Vegas. We have Jay Allen. He's down in like the Houston, Texas area. I'm on the East Coast, off of the Chesapeake Bay in Maryland. So, all right. Well, it's getting late. Might be a little quiet. It's all good. If anybody has anything else they want to talk about real quick, put it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll wrap up for tonight. Okay, Buenos, welcome. If you're new, let me know where you're from. Yeah, Goat, thank you for jumping in. You have an awesome night. Jay Allen, everything going all right for you guys down there? Your dad, yeah, is your dad good? Everything's working out? Hey, K Buenos, you're in Denver. All right, thank you for sharing that. What type of what are you, a remodeler? Okay. Jayon, you guys having a busy week? I know with Thanksgiving holidays, sometimes things slow down. You have enough work to get through? Is Hopefully you'll have some emergency. Well, I don't know if you want the emergency calls. Maybe you do. I'm sure some families are going to have some issues with all the guests coming over for the holidays. A little quiet this week. Yeah. A lot of homeowners are stressed out, racing around trying to get everything ready. I was helping get some ingredients. We had to bake some pumpkin pies. Yeah, you'll take the emergency call. All right. Well, you never know. It might come through. Okay, great. Okay, Buenos, Remodeler. Well, welcome. I'm not sure if you may have been here before. I'm not recognizing the everything, but that doesn't mean you haven't been here. But welcome. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, Denver's a nice area to be in. You guys had some explosive growth. You got a lot of people putting on a lot of nice projects. I know a guy who does a lot of outdoor living spaces out your way. And I mean, the projects he's getting into are crazy. Okay, first time, welcome. Yeah, I mean, Denver, I can't speak for all the Denver, but it seems like Denver's got a really good remodeling market. Eh, So, seem like you have a lot of homeowners that want, update. They want some nice things. They're trying to expand and grow. Yeah, for sure. I hear you on that. Yeah, so background is renovation work on houses, right? Remodeling, some investment property, rehabs. Yeah, primarily working with helping people figure out how to lead with design for their remodeling projects. So, where you tell the homeowner that you're the one call. You take care of the whole project. And you bring in the designer, and then that way you get paid to do the estimating part, and then when you present the design, then they hire you to do the remodel. That's kind of the concept that I'm a big fan of. So, Willie G, welcome. But yeah. Okay, Buenos, what's your share with us how long you've been in the industry, if you don't mind. Are you newer or have you been around the block, as they say, a few times? Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it, Goat. Goat, you've sent me the most gifts. When I you know, when at the TikTok gives me a summary of the lives, and you're like my number one gifter. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Very cool. Okay. Yeah, so I got oh, I don't know if I really get goat. I don't know if I get anything. Maybe, I don't know. It just I get a little summary when I'm done with a live. It'll tell me like how many people viewed it, how many comments. I don't know. It lists you off. So Jay Allen, you're in there a lot as a for the hearts and the comments. Goat, you're in there a lot. Um, yeah. So, uh, and then Kay Bueno. So like over 20 some years ago, I've got into the industry. Right, bought an old house that needed to be fixed up, and while I was hiring people, I was frustrated with the experience of hiring remodelers, and I liked fixing up houses, and I was like, "I think I'll start a remodeling business. It looks like there's good money in this business." And that was the next thing that I yeah. So like one year later, launched a remodeling business, and it took on various forms over the years of what we specialized in. So started off with doing a lot of restoration and structural work for old houses, and then moved into doing more like design build for kitchens and baths and additions. We then, when the economy crashed, we got into a lot of property preservation for banks. So basically, we would come into houses that had been foreclosed on and secure them, board them up, whatever, change out locks, put on new doors, replace windows, um, repair the roof if the roof leaked, stuff like that. Get the house ready so that they could at least put it in some sort of shape to sell it. So their asset didn't keep deteriorating. Winterized, we winterized a lot of houses for a while, stuff like that. Started a handyman division to help feed the remodeling company. That worked out really well. So I think handyman is often overlooked by a lot of people. I think it's a really nice niche to get into. I don't think a lot of people understand just how much money can be made just focusing on small projects. A lot of guys like to focus on the big jobs, but if you can't sell well, and a lot of guys lose money on kitchens and baths, believe it or not, because they they get blinded. They think, "Oh, I'm selling it for 80,000," and then they make no money. Some guys would be better off just doing small projects. They'd make much more profit. So so anyway, but yeah, thanks for hopefully you'll if you found it valuable. I do these lives frequently. Typically in the first part, I'll share something that's happened in the industry, and then we'll just have an open discussion. So mm. All right, well, you guys have an awesome night. Unless anybody's got anything specific, Jay Allen, I hope that phone rings a little bit. You haven't. We'll get you some work down there. Yeah, so Night Crew Gaming, we talked about AI when I first got on Gemini 3. and like the new things. Thank you, Jayon. Yes, thank you. But that we're a little bit past that part now. I'll be back. We'll talk more about, yeah, we'll talk more about, so, Gemini 3 just launched a whole new upload. They got a lot of new features. So we were going over that for a little while in the beginning, but, yeah, so Google's coming to try to take over. They don't want ChatGPT leading the AI race. That's the way I see what's happening with what Google's trying to do. So, all right. Well, thank you all for being here, and we'll be back another night. You guys have a great night, and if you do follow the account, you can always reach out if you have any questions. Yeah, Goat, have a great night. Jay Allen, have a great night, and Kay Buenos, thank you. Glad you found the account. Hopefully, we'll see you back another time. All right, you all take care. And good choice. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. And if we can ever help you with anything, you let us know. All right, we'll see y'all. Imagine this. In the next couple weeks, you could have a masterful response for each of those objections. When that homeowner says we're getting other estimates, you know exactly how to differentiate yourself right there.